Hello, hello. How are you out there in YouTube podcast land? Welcome to Living Light Dark to Dawn, Rock Solid, the place where you come to expand your thinking and elevate your way of being. How are you doing out there? My name is Dawn Shale, certified life coach and soul healer, coming to you from Hunterdon County, New Jersey, as always, to motivate you, inspire you, encourage you, edify you, lift you up, and all those good things. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing out there? I hope you're doing well. And so, just a couple of quick announcements. This is episode 4 for this forum. I migrated over from Podbean a few weeks ago, and it's still an adjustment. I'm definitely still adjusting to this, but it's all good, and I love it, and I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are too. And I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to share truths and insights and wisdom and things that I've gathered. My job is guiding people back to the heart of who they truly are. And so, with that, I have a lot to say. I have a message, and I want to share that. I just posted, I think it was last night, the my guest appearance on David Madansky's television series called Jaded Health will be airing in January. It will be airing in January. And I just want to keep people engaged and keep people in the know of what's going on. It's going to be a while. It's like a couple months, but I wish it was tomorrow. I wish it was going to be airing like right away. So, but it's not. So we have to wait. And but it's going to be good. It's going to be well worth the wait. And in the meantime, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this. I'm doing everything that I can. And you know that I work with people, and I counsel people and help people heal and guide people into their own truth through a healization process. But so tonight's topic is tricks, a fix, and what actually sticks. Tricks, a fix, and what actually sticks. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a juicy one. Happy Halloween. Hey Frank, how you doing? Frank is in the house. I'm used to the cheers. I miss the sound effects. I so miss the sound effects. How are you, Frank? Happy Halloween. It's cold here, right, in New Jersey versus what it was over the weekend, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to get into that. Can you hear me okay? I just want to know if you can hear me. Please let me know that the sound is good. Otherwise, I will adjust it. It must be because he's responding. So thank you for that. Thank you, Frank. So very informal here, very informal here, casual. That's me. I take my work very seriously. I talk about very serious things and very intense topics and subjects, and all heart centered, all heart based, alignment oriented. But I'm like a down to earth gal. From a born in born and raised in a small town. I've traveled. I've traveled abroad extensively. I think I've been to 4 countries without counting. I've driven across the country twice. I moved out to California, living in 3 states, including New Jersey. Most of the time I've lived here for most of my life. I lived in Minnesota for 2 years, and I lived in California for 16 months, just shy of a few months short of 2 years. So all of what I talk about is from personal experience. It's from personal experience. It's from being an observer. It's from being someone who is called to humanity to help them heal, to help them return back to who they are, to help them understand what this even means. That's my job and my purpose. So that being said, and Dave is in the house. Hey Dave, how you doing? I'm sure Carrie will be here soon. I did not people know where to find me. They know where I'm at, and I've told everybody several times, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. So here I am, here we are. And so topic. What is the topic again? Tricks, not treats. Tricks, a fix, and what actually sticks. And it's going to be good. But before I get into that, a couple of shout outs. Hello to Margie girl, Jersey girl that she is, dear friend of mine. How you doing, my sweet? And Ms. Bet, she takes me into the shower. That's what she does. Now she takes her phone and she listens to the podcast, and that's what that is. And it's a little inside joke, and we're just trying to be funny. So, a couple of other announcements. See, now you can see me swatting at gnats. Before in the pod bean, you couldn't see me swatting at gnats, and now if there's a gnat, you'll see me doing this. So, David Medansky, Stop Dieting, Start Thinning. He's the one that went to Dallas to be on his show Jaded Health. Stop Dieting is his latest. His next Jaded Health is coming out. If in his own words, he said, I was tired of being fat. I was tired of feeling unhealthy and just eating poorly and all these things. And so if you're looking to be lighter, leaner, just feeling better, feeling more healthy, he's your guy. Do check him out. He's an amazing human being, husband, man, father, the whole ball of wax. He's a health coach. And if you want some help in this arena, look him up, David Medansky. Breaking the Chains of Dieting, Stop Dieting, Start Thinning, Jaded Health. He's in the social medias. He's online and Amazon. Check him out. I think Kerry bought his last book, Stop Dieting, Start Thinning. My scholarship program, this was developed earlier last year. And what it does is it helps people get the financial assistance they need to work with me because they can't always afford to do so. And so it's just a matter of finding me, Dawn Shale, and Venmo or Zelle. No donation is too small, and it goes into this funding for people to work with me. So it's a great cause all the way around. It's a win-win all the way around. So that being said, let's get started. So why am I talking about this? I just want to real quick, give me 1 second. Just quickly. Okay. Just real quick. I need to do something. All right, there we go. So, tricks, a fix, and what actually sticks. And of course, it's relationship oriented. It's always relationship oriented. Most of what I do is relationship oriented. Oh, thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. I'm sitting outside. I'm sitting outside in the woods. Well, this actually is pretty representative. This scenery here is actually pretty representative of the county that I live. It's very country. We don't have mountains of that size, but it is country. And, so it's better than staring at a white wall. And, this is my desk and I never really had anything there. And so there you go. So I want to talk about, over the weekend, it was absolutely magical. It was amazing. And, I mean, life is magical. I'm happy in my life in general anyway. I'm just happy in my life anyway, but there was something extra magical where the collective is concerned, where just being out in public and around people was concerned. And yes, it was a beautiful day and it was Saturday and people are in a good mood on weekends, but it was more than that. There was something extra special going on. And it was considered Halloween weekend, whatever. Sometimes Halloween falls on the weekend, sometimes it doesn't. And whatever the weekend right before Halloween is, that's where the clubs and the bars and all of this, and they celebrate and people go out and they get dressed up and do costume contests and different things. And it's fun. And I used to do that a lot. I used to do it every year. I couldn't wait till Halloween. I put a lot of effort and time into it and I couldn't wait to dress up. And I was always excited about the costume I was going to wear. And I'm Wonder Woman, by the way. That is the most I've worn it like probably 4 or 5 times, but it's really not a costume. It's just on Halloween. It's when the real me comes out to play. So I took the costume out. I could have went out. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't into it this year, and it wasn't because I don't. I mean, and there's never any shame or judgment here on this show whatsoever. And just making this clear, like I usually do, this is not a religious show. It's definitely not a spiritual show, but I do talk about spirituality because we are hearts and souls having a human experience. And there's a heck of a lot more going on in the multidimensional space. And I've talked about that before. That's not really my focus right here. Although you'll hear me mention this, you'll hear me mention dimensionality and higher dimension. And it's really all about heart-centered living. And it's just going inward. So if you don't want to call it heart-centered, if you want to call it, going inward and connecting to the earth, but it's all inward. It's all heart being connected and aligned with our inner life, our inner self, our heart body is the phrase that I came up with. So anyway, that being said, my choice for not going out partying and all this is because I can't, there was a time where we all could, go from morning till night, get up in the morning, go out shopping, go do all these things, and then come home, change, and go out and stay out to 2 a.m. That wasn't going to happen, and so I had to make a choice. And nothing against anybody personally, nothing against any of the company I was going to keep, nothing. The great people, great all this. Um, but I just felt like I follow my heart. I follow what I'm in the flow of. I follow what my desire is and what I'm really wanting to do and what's kind of calling me. Like you always got to follow what your soul's calling you to do and what you're feeling like you want to do. And usually, if you follow that, you are. It's not going to steer you wrong. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Late to the show, girl. Ugh, I wish I had my sound effects because I could do a laughing and cheering and all that stuff, and I would really laugh at that right now. But glad you're here, sweetheart. Um, why am I screaming? So I wanted it was going to be 80 degrees on Saturday, this past Saturday, and when it's 80 degrees on October 28th, that is a divine invitation. You can't ignore that if it's going to be 80 degrees. The end of October. We've had some warm Octobers, and I was hoping for this because summer just took off. It left. And September was on the cooler side, and um, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 6:30, write it down, honey. Write it down. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. Same bat station, same bat channel. I'm busting her chops. It's not like you have a full schedule. It's not like you're just out and about and stuff. Anyway, so 80 degrees. I was really hoping for the Indian summer. We had 4 days. We had like 4 straight days of 75, 77, 80 degrees, whatever. So here it was. And I had not ridden my bike in the spring. It was too hot all summer. It was like either 90 or thunderstorms. It was between 85 and 90 and thunderstorms. And it's not really fun to ride the bike when it's hot and humid and damp and clammy. Anyway, so I said, I know what I'm going to do. Where can I go? And all of a sudden it hit me, New Hope. I haven't thought of New Hope in a really long time. New Hope is right across the Delaware River. I was there a few weeks ago, and when I was there for a short stint, I thought I have to come back here and just walk around. I'll ride my bike in and take my time and stuff like that. So that's what I'm like. Oh my God, I got so excited. I was like, yep, that's where I'm meant to go. When you feel excited about something like this, and I'm not. This is not a this is my what I feel. When you feel excited about something like this and you're just feeling this call, you got to go, you got to listen to that because something is surrounding this, and it's usually going to be amazing and to everybody's benefit and favor and all that. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. So um it was around I don't know what time it was, but I now it's like I gotta kick some butt and eat breakfast real quick and get ready and go and put air in my tires and all this. And so I did all of this and quick took, put my car in my car, my bike in the car. And so got the backpack ready and all these things. Hey Carrie, how are you? It's about time. Welcome, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Live studios jamming tonight. So just from the inception of the idea until I left and came home, and it was amazing. So what happened? Everything's a story with me because I love life and I love to tell stories and I love to be descriptive and I love to talk about the things that I see and feel and the things that I experience with people and among the collective and within myself and what I'm being shown and what I'm seeing and observing. Not everybody's like that, and that's totally fine. I'm like this. I've always been this way, and this is how I'm able to do what I can do because I'm that kind of person. Let me see. My phone is lagging real bad. Oh, sorry to hear that, Carrie. Bummer. His phone is lagging. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. I'm just, I'm a chop buster, and I don't have the sound effects anymore. But so, this is all going to make the title, Tricks of Fix and what actually sticks. So, and it's we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and this is how we roll here. So, I mean, it was warm by like 11. You could tell it was not a typical October morning. It was already warm, and I'm like, wow, it's going to be hot today. So I just got it, had to drag it. I just put all the summer clothes away. Who else did that? Who else put all their summer clothes away? And then you got to go digging them out, finding something. You got to throw something on, because it's going to be hotter than what we thought. So I the drive down was amazing. And of course you did, dear, because that's why you're my queen. That's why queens hang in the same circles, because we think alike and we do things alike. That's kind of a joke. So just an amazing ride, and I was loving this. I could not wait to get there. I couldn't wait. I felt like a kid. So I get on the trail, get my bike out, and it's not really a trail. It's called a towpath, and it's right on the Delaware River. Pennsylvania's on the other side of the Delaware River. It's a beautiful thing, and it was very. Sometimes that river's moving, it's cranking. Other times, and it was like glass on Saturday. It was just very still. Really wasn't moving. People tube down the river. People boat. They jet ski. All kinds of things. I used to jet ski back years back before I moved out to California. I used to jet ski on that river with some friends, and that was a blast. Jet ski. I can't jet ski on the ocean. Jet skiing on the ocean is really scary. It's a totally different experience. Jet skiing on a river or a lake is still water. Just the ocean. Skip. And I tried it a few years ago. Last time I tried jet skiing, I think it was 2015. It was down the Jersey Shore, Wildwood to be exact, and rented jet skis. And it was just on the bay, but it was still wavy, and I was freaking out. I'm like, get me! I can't do this. Get me off here. It was just, and anyway. So, me and my rabbit trails, or my whatever they're called. So, okay, um, I'm just the sun is shining. It's bright blue sky. I'm looking at the river. I'm looking at the water, the sun glistening on the water and everything. And I'm just like taking in everything that's happening in the earth and everything that is just the nature around me, and watching the leaves, and then just they're gently falling, then they land. And I just love that. And so, and here it is, it's like just under 80 degrees. And it's like, this is heaven right now. This is glorious. So I get into Lambertville. Now Lambertville is a town it is the Jersey side of the New Hope Bridge, and it's just a covered. It's a. I posted it. Go. Everything's public on in my spaces, Facebook and Instagram, and it's an amazing bridge. I just love this place, and so we used to go like this. This is really for this county. There isn't a lot of nightlife here, and it was kind of intentional years ago for this county and years ago for this county. And so it's not like a nightlife city around here. There's things to do, there's restaurants and stuff, but it's not real nightlife. You either have to go to Morristown, be down the shore, or go over to New Hope. There's some nightlife, but it's still not, anyway. It's New Hope is amazing. So I'm just feeling like I would pass certain people on the path. They're going that way, I'm going this way, and everybody just seemed to be, their energy felt really great. They seem to be in this amazing space. They seem to, and again, I'm not attributing this to, it was Saturday. Of course, everybody's in a good mood on a Saturday. That's not true. I mean, I've been out on Saturdays, and we've all been around in life and observed and stuff, and traveling the world and all these different things. And when there's just been a shift in the energy space, and that's what I was feeling. How do I describe this? Some of you will probably know what that is. Some of you are like, what's the difference? Why does she even care? Because there's a shift that I've been talking about for a couple years. When I started this podcast back in 21, February of 21. So I was in Podbean for 2.5 years. And I started talking about the shift back then. I started writing about this shift even before COVID happened. I started talking about, this goes back to 2010, 11, 12, 13, so I've been talking about the shift for a while, which is a really, I think Dave mentioned it on his page himself, is a great film by Wayne Dyer that he made years ago called The Shift. I recommend everybody see it. It's a really great film, and there's 3 storylines taking place. I've seen it tons of times. Really good. And Wayne Dyer was just an amazing, loving soul. He just oozed love. He just oozed care. He just oozed, if I could only be that way, um, and I am on some level, I think we're all different. I think we all exude love the way that we do. I think our soul shines through in its own unique way. And I don't think we're supposed to try to be like everybody else, which is part of what this episode is about, some of it. And so, really good film. Check it out. So, the universal shift. So I'm feeling this, and it's just, um, the men alone on bikes, the women alone on bikes, the couples, the families, the little kids, everybody just seemed to be just really aware of wanting to say hello and connect. And that's really what it was, is that there seemed to be a shift. I mean, this is the Northeast. This is the Northeast. It is New Jersey. It's a tri-state area. I think that's New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. So I think people might call it Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. But I think the official tri-state area is considered New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. I think that's the official tri-state. I'd have to look it up. But you'd think I would know this, being from the Northeast. But the tri-state area I think, is officially New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. Connecticut is above, so that's not really the tri-state. So it can be, Pennsylvania is the warmer stuff. I mean, honestly, and New Jersey can be edgy. New York is definitely edgy, and not really known. Southern hospitality is Southern hospitality. We don't have that here. We don't have the Northeast hospitality. We're, more of the go-getter, work, work, work. I mean, all the pharmaceutical companies are actually right around where I live. Um, it's industry, it's business, it's corporate central, and it's intense, and there's an intense energy, and a lot of times there's anger and frustration in the space, and that's just how it's been. In New Jersey and New York's kind of known for that. Not Pennsylvania so much. Pennsylvania's more of that. Pennsylvania looks more like this, just in a bigger sense. So, anyway, it wasn't what I'm saying is that when you're used to that sort of energy, the angst, the hurry up, get out of my way, and that's definitely, not going to lie, that's how it's been here, the hurry up, get out of my way thing. When that's not taking place, when it normally has, because I've been riding this towpath for, oh God, years. I mean, when I lived in Flemington, I lived in the townhouse there, and my neighbor, good friend, Cheryl, we used to bike the towpath, or we used to jet ski, or to take the kayak down the Delaware. And you just knew, you just could tell that there are some people that just didn't want to be bothered. Just leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. You could just feel it. There was none of this on Saturday. There was like none of that. Nobody. I didn't get that sense or vibe from anyone that leave me alone. Yeah, don't smile at me. I don't care. You're just happy. I'm glad you're happy. So what? I mean, and I'm verbalizing the energy that has been detected from people in the past, from just experience. So none of this. And then like towards the end of the towpath, as you're entering into Lambertville, there's a couple of restaurants that are on the side street, which they're right on this towpath, and there's a courtyard and outside tables, and there's fountains and stuff, and then this is like the canals, because the river, now we're kind of, the river's way over there now, and then there's just this canal, and so there's a couple of restaurants, and people are just lunching outside. It was just like, it was awesome. So I get into the town. I took a video of the town, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, I know it's me. Part of it is us. Part of it is, we see in the world what we feel inside, and I do believe that to a certain degree. I don't subscribe to that in totality. I do not think that, because then if we're witnessing someone being nasty to someone, or witnessing something that isn't appropriate, or we're hearing people yell and scream, or we're seeing something like that is a demonstration of who we are. So I don't subscribe to that mirror thing altogether. And I've been talking about this for 2 years. So a couple of you are used to this, that I don't subscribe to law of attraction 100%. I don't subscribe to this mirror thing 100%. I think that you are who you are. I am who I am. And if I look over and if I'm in a grocery store and I see like maybe a mother's being really impatient with her child and kind of grabbing them and pulling them over, if I'm seeing that and I'm saying, wow, if I'm witnessing this, I'm not witnessing myself in that event because that's not me. I am me and I would not do that. And so I'm not witnessing myself. I'm observing what's taking place over there with no judgment. It's so I don't subscribe to that totally. So I was thinking, this I know I'm in a really, I feel good this morning, but I was just feeling like as in the collective air and the energy space, there was just such an amazing flow. It's like there's been a breakthrough in this shift and I mean, look at the world, look at the war. If you put the news on for even 5 minutes, and I shouldn't say news. If you put the television on and you see what certain channels are showing you for even 5 minutes, it's awful. It's awful. And I made a mistake. I want to correct this. I think it was last week. I made a mistake. I said that I knew someone from Tel Aviv and I was just talking and I kind of mixed up that story. The story is this. I know this guy from Tel Aviv. He lives there with his wife and family, and he has been dodging and ducking and running literally for their lives from one like bunker to the next. And I don't mean like bunker, like, just one home to the next to try to stay safe. And I mixed the story up with someone who, something about personal development. I don't really remember, but somehow I got that mixed up. But that's what I wanted to share is that this person who lives in Tel Aviv, I heard him when this first happened about 2 weeks ago. I was at um, this gentleman that I work part-time for. He's a management consultant, and I was sitting next to him and he was doing a Zoom call and he's connected to people all over the world. And I was privy to this Zoom call. And he said, "You cannot believe what the media is telling you of what's happening here." That's what he said. So I'm not going to say take it as a grain of salt. Take it as a fact because he lives there. He lives in Tel Aviv. He lives in Israel. This is what he's been experiencing. And he said, just tune out the news. Tune out what the media is telling you. It's just not. So that being said, that's what I wanted to correct that from the last podcast. Great gentleman. I had posted pictures of the it was called the Global Leadership Initiative meeting. This was the end of June, and I posted pictures about this. And I had the honor of I was driving the golf cart. Maybe a couple of you here remember I was driving the golf cart with him in it, and he had just like arrived from Israel, and it was just my first time meeting him. He was the most warm, loving guy. It was just an amazing time. I may have shared some of this on the podcast. I think I did when I was in Podbean. So my heart broke because there was just a connection with him. There was a connection with all of us. And my heart broke to hear that. I mean, as soon as this thing with Israel took place, I was like, oh my God, Tal, how is he? What is going on? So in this moment that I was videotaping, back to this situation, the story, on the bike in the Lambertville, you would never know that anything war-like was going on, that there was a war taking place or anything like that. And people were just out having a really good day, going about their lives, shopping, antiquing, consignment shop with their dogs. The one picture I posted, there's next to this one restaurant, they had this dog bowl. They were empty, but it one said vodka, gin, and something else. And it's just so cute. This for the dog bowls to stop in it, and it's very much like that. Lambertville and New Hope are very much like that. A lot of stores will have water bowls out for the dogs and stuff. Huge biker town, huge biker motorcycle biker's dream, just biking around this area. So I was like, wow, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be interesting because I'm a people watcher and I'm an observer, and this is that's where I get my insight and revelation from this. I didn't go to school. That is my class. It's an ongoing class that will never end. So I ran into this one store real quick, one of my favorite stores there. And then I walked my bike over the bridge across the Delaware, over in the New Hope. And oh my God, like all of you would just love this place. It's just so much fun. And so there's all different kinds of people. I have to digress a minute. When I was on the towpath and biking in, I was getting my bike out of the car and putting it together and locking everything up and such. And there was this huge bicycle group dressed up in their Halloween costumes. So they were doing like a Halloween costume bicycle ride. This area is notorious for things like this. I was like, "Oh my god, I love it." And I'm yelling out at them, "I love this. This is great." And so there were quite a few Halloween costumes walking around during the day, Saturday. New Hope, they have their parade, and I guarantee the weather was going to be stellar. I guarantee the this was a Halloween costumes dream come true, especially the less you're wearing. It's suitable for the Wonder Woman costume. People that are all dressed up in all their makeup and all the, capes and things like this, a little warm for them. But otherwise, it was just this is great. We don't have to wear jackets. We don't have to, be shivering. And so people just walking around during the day. New Hope has an amazing Halloween parade. Like the Halloween parade is one of New Hope's gigs. It's one of the things that they do. So I'm just noticing all the different kinds of people, everything from preppies to, and I wrote about this to loners, the bikers, the couples with kids, um, other bicycle cyclists, um, gothers. That still exists. The whole goth look. I didn't go through that phase when I was a kid, but there, whatever floats a person's boat. So there was a lot of that. And why am I telling you this? Because it's what are we? So we're half hour in. Wow. So I'm talking about this because I'm there just seemed to be a lot of acceptance. There was a lot of acceptance. There was a lot of hello of holding doors after you excuse me, no please after you. There was a lot of this. And whether it was me doing that for someone or someone doing that for me. And it was just a real and it cross functionally um didn't matter who it was. When you get down, normally it used to be when you got down to Franz, and Franz is a biker hangout. That's where they all go. Usually the whole entire block is, I mean, there'll be 50 bikes just parked. And it used to be people would judge the bikers, and then the bikers would get pissed off for being judged, and there would be like maybe an argument or something taking place, or maybe a fight would break out at Franz, or maybe, right across the street from Franz's Havana's. It was like summer. I mean, everything was outdoor. It was outdoor all day long. And but there was none of that. There was none of I felt like judgment was absent. I felt like there was no judgment, not because I wasn't judging. I really felt like people are just really loving on each other today. It was just so awesome. And it didn't matter what you were dressed up as, what you looked like, how you talked, it didn't, none of that mattered. It just seemed like nothing mattered. And I was like, and that's why so went and got my coffee and walking around. I actually bought this. Do you love it? My tie dye. There is a store there. I love this store. So I had to get this. Treated myself. So just an amazing time. And so it was time to leave, and I get back on the bike and walk over the bridge, and I saw that there was a family that one girl was trying to take. I said, would you like me to, I offered these two ladies, would you like me to take a picture of you guys? And she said, absolutely. So I took a picture of them, and then they took a picture of me. They, would you like, I said, yeah, it'd be great. Please take a picture. I would love this background right now. I do things by myself a lot. I've been doing this for years. I've been to the movies by myself. I saw Avatar: The Way of Water in December by myself. I'm not afraid of being alone. Like when I talk about self-love and I talk about all these things that you see me post about and talk about and all of this, like I live this. I'm not a loner, and I know that people will tend to, and then there's a whole thing about that. I have my friends that I get together with, and we have a lot of fun, but I'm good that if, at this age, it's not girls' night out every weekend. There people have part-time jobs, or they have responsibility, or they have families, they have children, they have all this stuff. And so for me, I have no problem. It's like if nobody's around, I love spending time by myself, and I can go out and especially here in this area where you could just talk to strangers, and you can have conversations while standing in line or walking over the bridge and offering to take a picture of someone and things like this. So Well, I need to get to the so now that I've introduced this really extensively, tricks to fix and what really sticks. And so to me, on the bike ride home, I'm just feeling like this, just this, the loving energy and the love, just and the compassion and all this stuff just welling up inside of me, and all these words started flowing. And I was just so, I had this pride, like this pride of, I was proud of humanity. I was proud if that, and I don't, you have to, if you know me, you know me. If you don't, you don't. You have to know where I'm coming from. You have to feel where I'm coming from. I was proud of humanity. I was proud of what's taking place, because the world is in chaos and turmoil, and it's a mess, and it is a mess, and you not can't necessarily believe what the media is saying. There is a massive problem. There are riots and things breaking out in London, and I think Prague, and different, it hasn't happened here just yet, even though we have a massive border problem. Hopefully, by the grace of love and God and universe, we're not, I mean, and it's, well, why would grace, love, and God not have over in another country? So I'm not going to get into that. I'm hoping that, for me, just hoping that that's not going to be the case here. Not that I don't care about other nations that are experiencing this. I'm hoping that we can just continue to shift and rise into this frequency of love, that we can become heart centered, and just really tune into a place that has no violence and sees no color and sees no distinction between, black, white, red, yellow, orange, biker, goth, LGBTQ, whatever it is, that we can really get to that place. And that's how I felt. And I was feeling like a job well done, including myself. I mean, I, am by no means perfect whatsoever, and I get frustrated in different ways. I get frustrated that I want that peace and love so much, and I want that so much. And so when behaviors get weird and people go off the rails or something, I'm a huge fan of consistency. Big consistency. When people start acting all of a sudden inconsistent and odd, um, I that's a area of growth for me, let's say. So I'm on the towpath with my bike, and all of this is coming to me. There's all these things were flowing, and so I wrote about it, and that's why I posted that on Sunday morning for those of you that are there, and that's why I had to post this, because I was like, can this be more than just a Saturday? I don't know what word I used. Um, can this last forever, more than just a Saturday endeavor? And I believe that it is. I believe that it is. And then there's a Facebook friend that posted something yesterday, or the day before, and she said, we're coming into a place where this hibernation, this hunkering down, and this hermit mode stuff is coming to an end. And there was a time where that served you, and there was a time where you needed to be in this place, to heal, to be alone, to process. But we need to get out among the people like this. I've always been that way. I've always talked to total strangers. I've always connected with what I consider brothers and sisters. Is not kumbaya. Just, we're all one here in this, even though we're in different places and spaces and vibrations, we're still one here as a humanity. And I just have always enjoyed meeting new people and talking to people, and, chatting it up for a little bit, few minutes. I love that. When I moved to California, they didn't know what the heck to do with me. My best friend at the time, um, we were needing to find a place to go, and I rolled down the window. She was driving. I rolled down the window. I said, "Excuse me," and she's like, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" I said, "What?" She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm asking for directions. This is what we do here in New Jersey." "Oh, we don't do that here." "Really?" "Guess what? New Jersey's come to town. We do it now. We do it now. So, can you tell me where this is? Why?" That's It was another world. It was like another country out there in California. No shame or judgment, just saying it was just odd. This is what we do here. We talk to each other. You go into the city. Oh my goodness. You just talk to everybody. You befriend your waiter for the 2 hours that you're having dinner. Um, you become Facebook friends with people you meet at the bar. I mean, I became Facebook friends with a gal that I met at the U2 concert. I don't know. I feel like I talked about this. Maybe I didn't, but The U2 concert I went to in 2017, I had general admission and I was on the floor. Oh my God, one of the most amazing. Oh, I know why. That because somebody made a post about U2 and they said that they're a horrible band and nobody ever really loved U2. And so I had to make he's not here tonight. And I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. I'm saying that whoever said that nobody really liked U2, that's bullshit. U2 is like the biggest band in the world. That they will sell out any stadium in any city in any country within 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes, they'll sell out. They're like the biggest band in the world, and they have a religious background. And I read Bono's book and all this stuff, and I don't worship these guys, but I'm telling you that their music in many phases of my life has been like the soundtrack to my life because of the lyrics and the things, and it carried me through a lot of stages and things through life. And so I was on the floor, and I made friend, and her name is Facebook friends to this day, and we ended up hanging out together. She was with her husband, and the two of us just connected, and we spent the whole concert together, sitting on the floor and standing up and all this. And what Mary Lou, I can't say her last name, Mary Lou, gorgeous woman, great time. We'd go to the ladies' room together. We just connected, and now we've been so this is since 2017. We're friends. I mean, this is what we do here in the East Coast. She worked for CBS, or she used to. So in California, it was like totally foreign to talk to. I'd walk into Starbucks and I'd be talking to somebody, and everybody would kind of, here, I can now do this. We can do show and tell now because people be reading their newspaper, like, who's that girl? Like looking over, like, who's this chick? Hey, I'm from Jersey. We talk. We talk to people. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth that would happen, in different coffee shops or whatever it was. And I'd be talking to somebody and people would, be sitting at their, peering over their newspapers like that. Who's this chick over there? Anyway, it was an amazing time and I had to write about it. So the intimacy, it was like people, they were allowing themselves to be open. I felt like people were opening themselves. And I was getting a sense for the real people, for the real people. Now, do I know these people? Do I live with these people? Did I go on dates with these people? I didn't have lunch with these people. I don't know these people personally, but I just had this sense. I just could feel, it's just something, and I could feel they're letting their guard down. They're opening up. The world is in mass chaos and turmoil, and that does something to you. Challenges and tragedy are massive wake-up calls, and that's usually what it takes. A lot of times is what it takes for people to awaken when tragedy strikes. When the Mack truck experience, as Bruce Almighty had in the movie Bruce Almighty, he was hit by a Mack truck. And I talked about the Mack truck experience before I saw that movie. And if anybody's seen Bruce Almighty, he gets hit by the truck and he's flat out, and then he's on the with Morgan Freeman and the whole defibrillator thing. And I'm a CPR certified in CPR. So he had an awakening. Bruce Almighty, he wanted to be God. He wanted to have all the power and all this stuff, and he just wanted the power. He wanted all the power. But what was really going on in his heart about where love was concerned about loving other people? He wanted to just be powerful. And a lot of times people want to be powerful and they don't understand that your love within and connecting to yourself is the power that flows out naturally. Anyway, so tricks of fix. So intimacy. So this leads into the lure of fantasy and it being Halloween weekend. And so I was glad that I kind of said, I'm not going to get all dressed up and go out tonight. I want to do this. This is how I want to spend my time. And then I'm going to do a fire. I'm going to do a fire when I get home. And, did a fire, and it was a full moon. It was a full moon Saturday night. It was glorious. So I did some of that. We did the full moon stuff, and it was just a really nice night and just amazing. And I did have some company around the fire for a little while. And, so the lure of fantasy and so tricks, and I want to talk about I'm going to just move into this with that lest we open up and we become broken open and we become really true and honest with who we are and how we really want to be and show up in this world, we're never going to connect like this. And we need to connect. And humanity needs a real dose of what real intimacy is. And are we supposed to just bare all to everybody and bare our souls to absolutely everybody? No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think we're supposed to bare our souls to absolutely everybody, but I do believe that we're supposed to be connected, and we are supposed to connect because this is how where our strength as being one and coming together as one, and that joining together in that loving energy is going to spread and help heal the masses. And the masses need healing. We need healing. And a lot of people have been wearing the masks. And so Halloween is like a favorite time where, and I used to love to do this myself, but I've never worn a mask. I don't think I've ever worn a mask figuratively or for Halloween. But, it's enough that um, people wear masks of who they really are as it is, and then they look at Halloween, they get excited. Now it's a time that they can really doll up and put all the makeup on or put the mask on or whatever it is and go out to be and pretend to be something that they're really not. And it's almost like they're living out a fantasy of who they either wish that they were, or if they could be anything in life, this is what they would be. And I'm not talking about a roll of toilet paper as maybe some people do for Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Those are like comedians, which is amazing. But you know what I'm talking about, like especially all the sexy stuff. And there's a lot of sexy stuff, and Wonder Woman is definitely a sexy outfit. I am a discretionary type woman. I've always tried to be. I've never been like the bubbling over cleavage. I've never been that. I will never be that. I just that's for me. That's for me. I have sexy clothing, and there's things that you wear that you look sexy, you feel sexier, but it's I've never been provocative to the point of being a you know what tease. I'm not going to say that. And I do believe there's a fine line. I believe there's a fine line. And so, but it's just a night of total debauchery. It's a night of, for the most part. And I read something earlier that kind of confirmed what I was feeling. And it was it's a group, not a group. Is it a group? I think he's a group. He's pretty cool. He doesn't have a ton of followers. He writes a lot of real stuff that needs to be said that nobody else wants to say. So he wrote about this, and he talked about embodying a predator spirit. That when you and I, it's I don't want to go over there, and I want to get distracted. But embodying a predator spirit, and I know he made this post today because it's Halloween. It's Halloween all over the world. It's not just a United States thing. It's all over the world. And I thought, that's interesting. Predator is a strong word. It's a strong word. It's suggesting that you're preying upon people to get what you want. And that's one of the talking points here is human needs. We're going to probably, I'm 48 minutes in it. This is probably going to be an hour and 20, an hour and a half. That's typically what I've done. You saw that. So Dave saw that. That was good, right? What do you think about that? See, I know Dave. He's he's got that stuff going on too. Like he understands this stuff. One thing I know about him, he's not a provocative dude. He's not like that, and he's not a predator. Anyway, so that's a compliment. Wow. Dave's not a predator. Yay. Okay. So it's a night, a time, and it's fun. It's fun. It's fun as long as you don't live in this fantasy. But if you already wear a mask and you already don't show who you are, so now we're double downing. It's double. Now we're putting on a mask on top of our mask to go out and act and crazy and have fun and all of this, and kind of see. And he mentioned this guy on his page about people going out trying to get laid, or trying to turn other people on, or trying to attract other people, or trying to be sexy, or trying to, and that's never been my intention. Even though I can dress sexy and I'm Wonder Woman, my intention of going out for Halloween was never to be a tease. It's to have fun, you get a little attention. We all need attention, and that's one of the talking points is we all have needs. All of us as humans, we have needs, and we all need attention. We all need attention in a healthy way. It's human connection. It's a human condition where we need to be connected to each other. We need that attention, but not the kind of attention that is constantly feeding the ego. Oh, you look amazing. You look handsome. You look sexy. Oh my God, I could just do you right now. Oh, wow. All this stuff. And it's just outward fleshly stuff that isn't a real intimacy experience, because real intimacy is heart centered. It's love based. It's grounded. It's it's knowing who you are with a sense of self-respect, of wanting to know who the person is, who a soul is, who they are and what makes them tick. Not just wanting to get naked with someone, or wanting to turn someone on, or wanting their attention because you need attention and you just need this. You need the compliments, and you need this stuff to come on and come on and come on. I mean, I wrote something. I didn't post it all on Facebook today. I posted it on Instagram, and I wrote a little bit about this for Instagram today. And I deliberately didn't post in Facebook today because I wasn't going to have the time at all. And when I do, everybody, the people that do comment, I respond to everybody. And I do that on purpose. It's called relationship. I like the relationships I have with these people. And I believe that real leaders know how to build and cultivate relationship, because being a real leader isn't about telling people what to do or getting attention, or even it's about building relationships and being, influencing people in a relationship in that way. So Halloween, um some people are just out to have fun. They just want to get dressed up and act stupid and have fun. But some people are out there for it's a lure of a fantasy. They're kind of slipping away into a fantasy space, and maybe they can get lucky or meet someone, or maybe whatever it is, and you can feel it in the air. You can definitely feel this energy in the air at Halloween time. You can feel it. You can feel, and I just didn't want to do that this time. I just didn't want to do that this time. And not that I do that's ever been what my intention, my intention has been. I just wanted to do something different. And I'm glad that I did, because what I experienced was just outstanding. Um, that's not even like the right word to describe this. Uh, because I really feel that humanity is shifting, and we had a combination. I mean, it wasn't just, there were a lot of New York license plates also in Lambertville and New Hope, a lot of New York license plates. There are a few Connecticut license plates. It's a touristy place. It's not like a huge touristy place, but it's out there enough that people do come from all over. There's a few hotels, people, and there's enough to do to get a room. There's enough to get a room, and you, like, for a weekend, like a nice weekend getaway, get a room, go out to dinner, have a nice time, stroll in the street, do this, maybe hit up a club, um, and then go out, get your coffee, have a breakfast. It's just a nice time. It's a really nice time. So what do I mean by tricks? A fix, and it's all a fix. See, this fantasy stuff is a fix. And everybody loves compliments. Everybody loves to be, and we need the compliments. We need the feedback. It's nice to get a compliment. It's nice to give a compliment. I was complimenting people like crazy. Like, some of these people walking by in their costumes, like, I love that. I love it. Oh, thank you so much. It makes people feel good. It's what the intention is. It's what the intention is. Do you want to make people feel good? Do you want to give them a boost, or do you just want this ego stuff? I think there's a fine line between making people feel good versus an ego boost. And I do think they're two totally different things. And so we need that connection. And I think, the fantasy. And so this fantasy tends to spill over into our daily lives. And I think Halloween is just is a time where we can do this in overdrive. Now we can take this fantasy world, and maybe the inability to be really intimate with other people. And now we can take this and really move this over into Halloween night and really pour it on thick in this fantasy realm. And, I'm not saying this in a place of shame or judgment. I'm saying it from a place of awareness that we are meant to be so connected to ourselves and knowing who we are that we don't have to wear a mask. We don't have to wear a mask and, pretend to be someone else, or, thrive on compliments, or maybe be a people pleaser where you're the one that's giving all the compliments and trying to make other people feel good via compliments, or whatever that people pleasing looks like to you and shows up like. Um, we're meant to be just broken open. And like I said before, it's not about bearing your soul to absolutely everybody, but we're meant to be broken open to where we can identify on a soul level, where we can see soul to soul, instead of this flesh, because the flesh and the ego stuff is the compliments, is the fantasy, is the mask, is the image management, the social media stuff. And I talked about this a little bit in Instagram with the social media scrolling, and there's just oh my god, there's just it's an addiction. It's a fix, and the scrolling is such um because everywhere I go, it's like the phone, the phone, the phone. I didn't see a lot of that on Saturday, I have to say. Even people are at the coffee shop. I didn't see this. Even in their cars, it was like people were looking around at what was going on. Even walking the streets. A lot of times you're walking down the street somewhere, and people are crossing the street with their phone. They're crossing the street. They're not paying attention to the light or the go or whatever, and they're on their phone crossing the street, walking down the street. They're just on their phone. I didn't see any of that. People were really attentive. They were really connected. They were really paying attention. This isn't like a super spiritual, multidimensional thing that is set aside for a select few. For the people that have only experienced, galactic things or supernatural things or connection to Mother Earth, or you're an intuitive and you see synchronicities and signs and wonders and whatever your spirituality might be. I think each person is living their spirituality based on the connection to their own selves. That is their spirituality. That is your spirituality. When you are connected to yourself, you're heart centered, and you're living from that authentic place. That is your spirituality. That's your authentic self. It doesn't need to get much more woo woo than that. And I've seen things, and I understand the supernatural, and you can too, and anybody can. But when we emphasize that, when we put all the emphasis on all the stuff of all the supernatural things, and we don't know how to relate over here, we don't know how to have a conversation over here, we don't know how to treat our friends over here, we don't know how to be accountable over here, we don't know how to have a conversation over here, we don't know how to have a hard conversation over here. What good is this? Because the more multidimensional you are, supposed to be about love. It's supposed to be in alignment with love. And so the more aligned with love we are, should help us do all this stuff over here relationally. And it should be showing up in the relational space. Because the more loving that you are and the more connected to yourself that you are, it's going to show up in how you are. It just flows from who you are out into your relationships. I hope that makes sense. And so the fantasy, I talked about that. I can't read talking points on the screen anymore like I used to. So all I have is like this talking points. Everything else just flows from that. But it's it's my talking points. Um, so the attention, love is always the goal, right? Love is the goal. And I'm not all saying like if you're having a hard time and you could really use a compliment, or you could just use a boost. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with giving somebody a boost or saying you look pretty today, or gee yarn, don't you look handsome in that shirt today, stuff like this. But needing that only in that superficial space isn't going to transform and heal you from the inside out. It's not going to transform and heal you from the inside out. And there's a lot of things going on in the inside to have to wear a mask to begin with, as in metaphorically speaking, that you really can't show people who you really are on a day-to-day basis. And then, taking advantage of costume parties or whatever it is and having to put on a mask, and you feel like you can be totally comfortable now because nobody can see you. Nobody can really identify with who you really are as who you are on a day-to-day basis. And I thought, I was going to put this in the thing that I wrote, and I thought, if only what we're experiencing here on a Saturday like this, which I don't believe that's what it is. Can we show up like this on Monday morning? Can we be the same thing? Can we if we can do that, we've accomplished something. If we can be this 7 days a week, 24/7, 365, all the time in this loving space. And I bring balance. I'm a Libra, so I bring balance to everything. So I'm saying there's nothing wrong with compliments. There's nothing wrong with, it's the needy energy. And you've heard me talk about needy energy. And, when you need. And so a lot of times, especially people that are single that want to meet someone and they, or, just, um, well, let me speak to that for a minute, is trying to connect, talking a soul talk and wanting this soul thing and wanting this divine union and wanting this, but you're trying to connect with this superficial stuff. This is across the board too. You're not going to get a real soul connection with someone and a deep friendship with someone through the egoic space. I wrote one of the first quotes I ever wrote, and it's not really that profound. One of the first quotes I ever said: "Compliments will get them in the door, but character's what will make them stay." And this is 2010 or 9 or something like that. Compliments, flattery. Flattery will get them in the door, but character's what gets them to stay. Character is in alignment with your own alignment. And so the more that we're in alignment with ourselves, character shows up as a result. And when you're in alignment with that, with yourself like this, character isn't going to be hard. Character isn't hard to do when you're aligned with you. When you're committed to yourself and you're dedicated to yourself that way, and you have your own self-respect and your own honor. And so a lot of times what people do is they sell out subconsciously. They will sell out. Well, this is what I want. This is what I want. And so desperation will kick in. There'll be a desperation that'll kick in. And it's like, okay, so what happens? You want something, and then you start to sell out, or you start to minimize, you start to reduce your standards. Never lower your standards for what you want, because if you lower your standards for what you really want, whatever that is, it could be a career, it could be a job, anything. Once you lower your standards and you start to settle for what you really want, that's like where the soul is sold. That's like, I did a podcast called Soul Not for Sale a while ago. And some of those Podbean podcasts are listed on my channel here. And then you'll see it. They're just audio. They're not visual like this. We want to connect soul to soul. We don't want to sell it. And I think sometimes if people will think, well, my standards are too high. No, they're not. They're not high enough. Maybe they're not high enough. You just haven't connected to the right people. You haven't, and here's the thing. The totality of yourself sums up your whole entire life. So the totality of yourself, everything that's going on. And this is not perfection. So what I mean by this is the totality of yourself, what you believe about yourself, how you self-care, how you take care of yourself, your self-talk, your spiritual practice, whatever it is, your quiet time, whether you pray, meditate, ground, stillness, your solitude, whatever all that is, and how you care for yourself and how you go inward and how you work things out within your own self creates your outward life. And so all the totality of this sums up everything and determines the people you're going to connect to, the relationships you're going to have, the friendships you're going to have or not have, the success or not you're going to have on your job or the career or the business that you're trying to build. And if you compromise and you compromise and you feel like, well, everybody else is doing this, is where groupthink comes in. This is where the need for agreement and the need to be like-minded. And it's not easy always to live independent, but everybody is meant to be independent and then interdependent, where you're independent of your own, some of yourself, and then working with other people in that connected space. What was I going to say? But when you start to compromise and you sell out and you make excuses and you kind of, because you think it's fear of not being accepted, fear of maybe someone's going to accuse you of your standards being too high, or accuse you of absolutely everything that isn't really your heart, isn't really who you are. You just have standards high as hell, and you have a right to, because you know the pain that you walk through and the life that you've lived, and no one's walked in your shoes, and you know the choices that you made, and you know the sacrifices that you've made and different things to get to where you are. And it's like, if I want this, I want this. And I I don't want to be treated this way. I don't want to settle for this. I don't want, well, who else, and then you maybe, and I used to do this a long time ago, when you start to maybe think, well, who else is really doing this anyway? Well, they don't have this. And I mean, do you ever compare relationships to other people? I mean, oh my gosh, well, who has the perfect relationship, and who's, well, they're this and they're that. So this isn't bad. And so I might as well do this because everybody else is. This has nothing to do with everybody else. What you want in your life, in every area of your life, if you want it and you believe that you deserve it and you think that it's a real genuine heart calling soul purpose thing, don't settle because of what everybody else is doing, because I'll tell you, everybody else is settling for a whole lot of stuff. And settling might pay the bills, settling might, it might get you married, settling might get you laid, settling might do a whole heck of a lot of things, but is settling magic? Is settling magic? Is it getting you that amazing connected feeling that we're all after? We all want to feel this connection with life, with ourselves, with other people. We want to feel this connection. We want to feel connected. That first happens here. And when it happens here, then it's going to create that out there. This is why I said the totality of yourself sums up the rest of your life. The totality of yourself, the totality of it. And it's worthy to look, it's worthy, it's worth looking at, in phases and stages and layers. It's worthy looking at different areas and aspects of your life. It's worthy doing that. It's worthy kind of taking inventory and saying, okay, what could I improve? What could I shift? What could I adjust? What could I discard? What could I purge out of my life? What standard do I need to raise? What am I tired of tolerating? What am I tired of? What is it really fulfilling and satisfying? So the tricks, the thing is that people can put on a really good face, they can put on a really good mask, and they can put their best foot forward all day long and all these things, and it might get them in the door. Like I said, flattery gets you in the door, but character makes you stay. That kind of game and that kind of thing only lasts for so long, because eventually the true person's going to show up. Eventually the truth of what a person really is going to show up. You can only wear a mask for so long. You can only do a fantasy for so long. You can only you know, play a game for so long, and eventually the stuff is going to rise to the top. And when stuff starts rising to the top, you have a choice. Do I want to clear and heal this? Do I really want to get this out? And I'm not a big fan of saying, oh, well, there's a lesson here and there's a lesson there. And then people, and the spiritual community has a heck of a lot of catchphrases and a heck of a lot of things that they say and a heck of a lot of, things that sound really good. And, and you go into social media, you'll find groups and people that are all banding together, and they're all saying the same kind of thing and believing the same kind of thing and thinking the same kind of way. And they're really just bouncing off of each other. That's all they're doing. They're just bouncing off agreement. They're bouncing off of resonance. And a lot of what is called resonance isn't resonance. It's just agreement. It's glorified agreement. It's glorified because, well, what's wrong with resonance? There's nothing wrong with resonance at all. If it's coming from your own independence, if it's coming from your own conviction, your own honest conviction of what you really want. And it takes being really honest with yourself and being honest with yourself and asking, does this, do I really want, do I like this? Am I really feeling like this is authentic to me? Does this feel like it matches who I am? Does this feel like this, the settling thing, man, I could spend a long time on that. People will settle all day long. It's better than nothing, because I already did the comparison thing, because that's what everybody else does. Well, who cares what everybody else does? A lot of people are not, everybody's in different phases of consciousness, different phases of awareness. You don't want to make any decisions in your life based on what anybody else is doing or saying or believing or agreeing with, ever. And if you feel that you're in a space of, I feel like I have these convictions and nobody seems to understand them, and I can't seem to find people that agree with them, and I can't, be there for a while. I've been there, done that tons of times. You have to be there for a while. Be there for a while. Because otherwise you're just looking for agreement and groupthink and stuff, and then that's where the whole And there's compromise in a way where you have a friend and it's like, well, let's go shopping. What store do you want to go to first? And you compromise. You're married. Where do you want to go for dinner? Well, I want this and he wants that. Or he wants this and she wants that. So you compromise. That's compromise. Where do you want to spend the day? I want to go to New Hope. Let's go to Lambertville first. Well, I want to go to New Hope first. That's compromise. I'm talking about character compromise, integrity compromise, the kind of compromise where it's going against your own better judgment. It's going against your soul's magic, your soul's light, your soul's heart. Your, you know, and there's compromise in conversation. There's compromise in working at a disagreement. There's compromise in understanding where each other's coming from. There are certain things, there are certain, you know, you have to pick your battles, and there are certain mountains that I'm not willing to die on. And one of them is, I am a soul healer and a life coach. And one of them is that there are a couple of people that no matter what I say or do, they always think I need healing. And they want to talk to me in a way that they think that I need healing. And I'm not, I've done the brunt of my work. I wouldn't be able to be sitting here doing this and working with other people if I hadn't. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I really don't need the kind of healing. And they just want to keep holding me in this space where instead of relating to me as a friend, they want to relate to me in this counseling kind of thing, or this let me help you kind of thing, or let me give you unsolicited advice kind of thing. It's one of my pet peeves. I don't like unsolicited advice. If you say, would you like my advice? Then I'll say maybe, if you ask. I have my go-to people. There's mentors. There's like, that's all good set up. I've been doing this for a really long time. I started my healing journey 30 years ago. Like, I'm set up with that. And if I don't know someone for that long, if I don't know you that long, and we don't have this real tight-knit friendship, sisterhood, kind of don't really want unsolicited advice, you know. And sometimes there are people that you will explain things to, and no matter, you can explain it inside out, upside down, in a million different ways, and they're not going to get it. They're not going to connect with that, you know, that connection where they get it, they understand where you're coming from. They just get you. They get what you're about. They get, not everybody's going to get that. This is why you have to be in this into me see first. And this is what creates the into me see outward. And it also removes the masks and the things and the fears and the stuff that hinders you from being a maskless, broken open, vulnerable person with everybody else. I hope this made some. We got the POW from the yes from Kathy, and we got some reaction here. So I appreciate your input. I feel like I might end. I want to have a peek at something real quick to see. Let's see here. Let me just see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I guess I kind of covered everything throughout here. But this is yeah. So hope you've had a beautiful spooktacular day. Anybody have any questions? I don't normally do that. I didn't even do that in Podbean, and I kept offering that, and I never did. Not that I'm like the answer woman, but just in case before I end, because I don't really feel like closing just yet. But you know, I always, love is always the goal. And you know, well, here's something I want to say, because it's the tricks of fix. So a lot of this stuff that I was talking about can be a fix. It's a momentary fix, but it doesn't last. You know, when you're soul connected and all that, you're going to have, there's going to be longevity. And in the imperfect moments, if there's a disagreement, or if there's a difference of opinion, or if there's maybe a belief that you didn't realize you had or they had, and it doesn't quite match, there's not going to be this unfriend, purge, cut them out of your life stuff going on. You're going to be able to accept that in another person, and you're going to be able to value and appreciate the loving person that each other is as a whole, instead of these, you know, maybe different areas that you might not be complete and total alignment. I mean, there's marriages where husbands and wives don't completely totally agree. I mean, you're never going to have total and complete agreement. And that's where the compassion and the understanding and the grace to let everybody have their own space. And I think in the needy space, when you're needing someone to totally and completely agree with every single thing where you are, or someone needing you to agree with every single thing and their belief and way and all of that where they are, and this happens in religious circles, um, there's a fear there, because when you're secure in your own grounding and your security within your own self, you don't need someone to totally and completely agree with where you can just be like, all right, okay, cool. Well, we let's do this over here. Let's go there over there. It's not, the needy energy comes from places of insecurity and places that have not been resolved, places that places that are needing to be filled with love, places that are needing to be because there's a needy energy. So whenever there's like that extra super need thing, and we're not supposed to fix each other. We're not here to fix each other. We're here to maybe help and guide and support. I like the word support. We're here to support each other, but we're not here to fix. We're not here to tolerate either. There's the balance again. We're not here to I want to say this. This just popped into my head, where men and women are concerned that want to meet their mate, or meet the soul, and this, that, and the other. This goes for both men and women. This goes for both men and women, where the women will say, well, the men need to be this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this. But the men do this too. And then the men will say, well, what about the women? This goes for women too. This goes for women too. Well, this goes for the man. And then, well, here's the thing. Being who you are gets, none of that's in the space. I don't have that in my space. Who I am and what I believe in all these things, and the totality and sum of who I am, is going to attract him naturally. I'm not going to have a laundry list. If you got to meet this, this, this. I mean, I want some things that I want to have in common. Music is a big one. I'm not going to rattle it off right now, but there's a lot of talk in the space, in the atmosphere, and social media about and the queens and the goddesses. And here's the thing: it's because for the longest time, I want to say this, women have already been at a higher frequency naturally, just because they're women. This might be hard to hear. The man and the woman. Women have already had an edge because they already are more emotionally wired than men have been. Men are catching up. Okay. The divine masculine is catching up to this, and have done their work, and they're doing the work. And I know a lot of men that are connected, and they're emotionally wired, and they're heart centered. They are. But women naturally have already had this. And so women can sometimes tend to be, where are all the good men? And I don't get this. And I'm so tired of this. Wait a minute. Wait. Stay in your lane. Do your own thing. Stay connected to yourself. Be humble. And he'll come in. But not because you're demanding. This demanding, pointing blame, looking and blaming the men for not doing the right thing. Like that's all of that energy is not going to attract a man that you really want, when you're in that energy of, I'm tired of the men, that you have to get rid of this. You're not tired of the men. Okay. You haven't connected to yourself in a deep way of where, like, wow, I just feel that it's going to happen. It's going to happen because, but the same thing goes for the men, is that they're probably tired. The men are tired of hearing how we have to be perfect all the time. And it's not about you being perfect. And that's also an energy that you have to remove. Let me see what Kerry said here. Do you feel like there is a shift in expectation, men and women, in dating relationships? That's an awesome question. So Kerry says, I've been feeling this for a while. I had a feeling. So do I feel like there's a shift in that? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. And there has definitely been a shift in it, and it's been there for a while. And The thing is this is getting a hold of spiritual principles and concepts in the mind is not enough, because there's a lot of spiritual playgirls and a lot of spiritual playboys. And what does this mean? They've gotten a hold of the concepts, they know how to talk the talk, they know how to speak, they know how to write, they know how to post like the date, like to no end. What is your life? What is your real life here? What is your real life here? What is your real life? What is your real character? What is your real integrity? How are you showing up every day? What are you doing every day? Where are you going every day? Are you creating something? Or are you being productive? Are you making something happen? Are you serving other people? Are you making someone else's load lighter? Are you um what actually is it that you are living behind the scenes, offline, off the phone? That's who the person really is. So it doesn't matter what people are talking about and posting in social media and trying to impress with all the, you know, I stole the phrase spiritual playboy from a guy who wrote about this a while ago, a couple years ago. And there are guys that know how to work it. These men, a lot of these men come online and Facebook and Instagram, and they know how to work the system. They know how to work what they've learned up here, but they're not living it here. Because how you're going to know for both men and women, how you're going to know for both men and women is character. The character, right? Character and high frequency of love is one and the same. And I know that there's a huge spiritual, galactic, all of this stuff out there. They have not integrated this. This all needs to come together. We need to integrate all of this. We need to integrate all of this into the heart, the chakra system, the heart body, the inward. It has to be integrated. We need to integrate all of this. And this is what I felt on Saturday. I felt like there was no difference. There was no, but that's how you're going to know, is through character. Can they have a conversation? If you ask them a question, you seem a little off. Are you okay? And they start acting weird. Something's not right. Something isn't right. Or if we all have phases and different things we're all working through, and stuff that we're trying to figure out in life, what we're creating or the job that we're doing and whatever it is. If you need to say, I'm just feeling a little off, right? It doesn't take anything to let someone know what's going on, to bridge the gap, to say, hey, I'm having a bad day, or I'm going through something right now. I just want to let you know, this is where I'm at. Take the initiative and explain this. Take the initiative and let people know in your inner circle, the people that you're close with, let them know what's going on. Let them know. Because it's when there's like this doesn't work. And I know I did something that's more like this. It is kind of an ebb and flow. Let me see. Kathy said, yes, they do. I don't know what she's referring to. Yes, they do. Okay. I think that you need to get to know people outside of social media. And I know that social media is a big, massive ass thing. It's huge. It's you and the attention span, because everybody's trying to get their fix and get their attention and make their posts and get the likes and the loves and whatever it all is. And it's all intention. Do you really want to connect with people? Do you want to relate to those people in that morning? Do you want to say, do you want to just really connect, or do you want to just post because you need a boost? And so if you get 150 likes today and you only get 75 tomorrow, well, wow, that was, what really is the intention of what you're looking for? And you cannot I'm telling you straight up, I've experienced this over the course of 15 years being on Facebook in particular. You cannot think someone. I don't care. I used to think this, and I do have connections with people that I've never spoken to on the phone, and I do have a connection in a sense about who they are. And there's never been anything weird, wonky, or strange. And it's just been this real pure space of just, this is who we are, and we're friends, and we like each other, and that's it. But you need to know who someone is besides what they're posting. You cannot think that because someone's created a Facebook image with their picture and all their wonderful posts that they're the script. No, you have to be connected, phone calls, voice to voice. You have to know who they are. You have to have a sense of hearing where they're coming from. You have to develop a friendship. You have to, habits, patterns, all of this. All of this. It's a long time ago. I met a guy on Facebook, and this was before I moved to California. So this goes back to 2010, and I got burned in a really big way through this. Huge. He lived in Australia. I've told this story. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I thought I knew this guy. We talked on the phone. He used to call me from Australia. And when I got to California, it's a long story, but suffice to say, I've had experience with this. And no matter how sincere someone seems, you don't know someone and you don't really have a real friendship with someone until you're on the phone with them for a significant amount of time. And from my experience on the phone, knowing who they are, really developing a real friendship with people. I have some great friends, some of my best friends I've met in social media, and we've been on the phone for several years, and we've developed this. I'm supposed to go visit two of these people. Hopefully this happens. Life is life. But I do believe there's a shift, Carrie, and I do believe that it's when you raise your own standard and your own vibration, and you look for character, and you look for soul in someone, and you look for consistency. Consistency is big. It's huge. It's huge. We can all play around. I don't play around on Facebook. I don't. I make my posts, or any social media. I make my posts. And for the greater good, for the serving and out there and you guys and all this stuff, and then this I'm doing now, and I post this, and I do connect with a lot of people, and I will have a little bit of interaction, um but playing around and stuff, I it's not my thing. It's really not my thing. So um you got to get to know people, and I'm not a fan of online dating either. For me, I'm not a fan of online like dating apps and stuff. So I have my own. This is the thing: when you have your own connection, okay, and your own practice of with God, universe, stillness, quiet time, prayer, meditation, grounding, and you are feeling like you're guided, guarded, supported, and protected. You will have a sense and a knowing of what you feel is for you and what isn't, what is coming for you. You will have a sense of things. What did Carrie say? I've shared some posts about that on Facebook lately. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to take a look at your page because I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, and I do try to. You're one of the people I try to, because we had a friend anniversary the other day. Um, I think it's 14 years, Carrie. I thought it was just 10. It's a long time. So something like that. It was a friend anniversary. Remember we used to do the friend anniversaries? It shows up in memories, but I don't post them anymore. That used to be a thing. That was like a phase in Facebook that people used to post their friend anniversaries. But anyway, I think I'm going to stop right there. And I think this was awesome. I'm glad you guys were here, and then you participated. And I always appreciate the live studio participation. So thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. And, we're going to end. And so my name is Dawn Shale. You can find me at www.dawnshale.com. You can learn more there about how I coach and counsel clients. This podcast is in YouTube right here, and I'm going to be posting it in Facebook and Instagram after we're done here. And, if you feel that this would benefit anybody please send them the link. Subscribe, by the way, to my channel. I forgot to say that. Please subscribe. Tell other people to subscribe. Spread the word. Pass it around. Share this as you feel, and like you want to. There's never any pressure, but if you want to share it, please share, and please spread the word and let people know who I am. And if you feel it would benefit anybody, send them this link. Let them know. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you feel like you could use some guidance and support, look me up, www.dawnshale.com. All my contact information is there. And this is the work that I do with people. Look me up because I can only do so much through these podcasts. I can do way more one-on-one, and I'd love to get to know you better through a 30-minute intuitive call. And let's talk. Let's just have a conversation. It's casual. There's no commitment. If you feel like you could use some guidance. And y'all are welcome. And thank you to you guys too. So that being said, I do believe I will be back on Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have no idea what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to tune in to find out. In the meantime, live, love, be blessed, be blessed, live blessed, be connected, love yourself because I sure do. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.